far from perfect, far from anything relatively up on that ladder. I'm silly, goofy, and if you're gonna subscribe or tune into this, you're going to see some silly shit. And I'm the least serious person, so like I'm gonna try to take this seriously, but again, I'm just a natural fucking clown, so we'll see how far this goes. Okay, so this first video is going to be about warm-ups. This is tripping me out. I'm not used to really flowing by this couch like this. I'm gonna go over warm-ups and how you can prepare your body before you start flowing like crazy and all that shit. Scoot this up. All this is bothering me because like I never am out in this living room like this. Okay, so if you're new to yoga and you're curious about how to do simple, what they call vinyasa, chaturanga flow before you do all that, you should always warm up, stretch, all that jazz. So, I'm still waking up, so bear with me. My voice and everything is just like blah. Okay, so some warm-ups we can do. We can start with, I guess we'll start with our neck. Let's do that. So some simple neck warm-ups. And you can sit however. You can sit with butterfly legs, simple seated. You can do lotus if that's comfortable. You can do half lotus, which I'm always, half lotus is when you have your one leg up. Full lotus, if you can, you take your other leg and you put that foot that was beneath up on top, and it's kind of like a little pretzel, but that's not necessarily comfortable for me all the time. So I stick with half lotus or just straight up crisscross applesauce, right? So, from there, we're gonna do neck warm-ups, I said? Okay. And I'm hoping this music isn't too loud. So I always have craziness on. Move this here, coffee here, because it's like, gotta have that in arm's reach at all times. Okay. Neck warm-ups. So we can start by dropping the chin, slowly rolling up and over the shoulder. Slowly control, there's no rush. And when you drop your chin, you might hear some pops, some cracks. Let it hang here, maybe turn from side to side a couple bits. And again, bring it up. And I probably should have noted that we do one breath, one movement. So dropping is exhale. Turn a couple times. Inhale up. And exhale down. And the other way. Inhale up. Exhale down. And you finally find that rhythm. And you just go with that. And I'm sure I just look silly rolling my neck on video, right? So once you feel like your neck is pretty good, feels loose, not necessarily loose, but you know, warmed up, right? And okay. Now I'm like feeling real good because it's like the first practice of the morning and everything, so I'm just doing this for this little video. Okay, so neck warm up, that's always a good one. After that, we can move on to, how about the shoulders, since we'll just move on down. I'll take this off so you can see a little bit. My shoulders are pretty important. Like, I'm always working on my shoulders in my practice because of so many chaturangas, so many inversions and all that jazz. And they're always on fire, but in a good way, you know, like, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna dive in that because I will just ramble. So let's stay, I need to stay on track. So shoulders, a warm up for the shoulders. As you inhale, draw the shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, roll the shoulders back. Again, you'll get in that flow of your own rhythm. Alright, so once you feel like you can always do it more or less. It's always up to you. Everyone's different. I usually just do 3 to 5 breaths each little warm up. Okay. So, neck, shoulders, wrist is a huge warm up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I dive into wrist because there's a few wrist ones that I do. Yeah, I don't really necessarily warm up my bottom half. Okay, so let's just get to it. Wrist warm ups, very important for your practice because we are constantly on our hands, right? I don't know if you can see it. I might have to fix this so you guys can see. Hang on here. Yeah, this is gonna fall. Sorry, awkward. Okay, maybe I'll just scoot back. Okay. So, coffee break. Cold. Didn't even do the job. Could have passed on that. Okay. Wrist warm-ups. We'll start with clasping the hands. Small circles. And you can, I never necessarily go one way. I'm always like, just roll, if you can see. And just literally feel it. You'll hear popping and cracking, but these are things that you should be warming up before you are on your hands for the length of time. Okay, another really good one. Palm out in front of you. Take your other hand, stretch your fingers back. Inhale here. Exhale, fold the hand. Bend the fingers towards you. Inhale. Exhale. And on this side. And again, you can do these as many times as you'd like, as many times as you feel like you need it. These are just little improvements for your practice to make it a little bit easier and accessible for you. After that, before I hop on my hands, I'm trying to think what other ones. Oh yeah, so there's prayer pose. If you flip your prayer under and you stay here, you'll feel that stretch right there. And if that's hurting, avoid this. It's not even, but they say, what I've read is if you do feel pain along the tendons and veins and all that, little tinies, then you have wrist pain, so they say, but who's they, right? So don't spend too much time in there if that's irritating for you. Alright. From here we can do small wrist rolls separately. And then we will have to scoot back again, make sure you guys can see the hands. Because we are on our hands a lot during the practice, we will continue warming up our wrists. I'm trying to look for the words, I'm like totally at a loss. So hands planted on the mat in front of you. It's probably easier if I'm in, because how am I going to do this? So if you are in tabletop position, which we'll go over all this eventually, but tabletop, when your knees are aligned with your hips, your wrists are aligned with your shoulders, this is tabletop. Sets you up for cat-cow, which we will go through all of those basics. But right now, we're just working on the wrists. So to warm up the wrist before, yes, you get that. I don't even know what words I'm looking for. So you can rock, back, and this is just basic hands on mat, forward. Now we will turn them, or rotate the hands so the fingers are pointing out towards the mat, the edges of the mat. From here, you'll go from side to side, very slow, controlled. Do not whip around in this position. You will get injuries, and that will just put limitations upon your practice. No fun. Everything is with purpose and controlled stretching. Being mindful, that's the word I'm looking for. So once you feel like you've done enough rocking here, you then can take your hands and reverse them completely so that your fingers are pointing towards your knees, towards the back of the mat. And from here you will rock very slowly up. You'll really feel that deep stretch in your wrists. And in this, when I said earlier, you'll hear popping and cracking. You should not hear popping and cracking in this. If you hear something going on, just stop and get out of it as slowly and comfortably as you can. All right. From here, we'll give our wrist a few rolls. Because now your wrist should be like on fire if you're following along. It's quite the wrist warm up. All right. What other one is there that we do? Let's see. So we did those, and then I guess we'll do the flick one. So if you see, now my wrists are totally warmed up. Okay. So if you put your hands in like the little totally dude, right? Cypher bro. If you have them pretty loose, like don't have them like tightly, like, you know, just loose, like have them hang, and you keep your thumbs up towards your shoulders, pinkies pointed down, and slowly flick your wrist. And this movement is just stretching it out. I know, it looks silly, right? But it feels good, and the aftermath will feel really good. And a lot of these stretches, you'll do them and you'll catch yourself doing them. You're like, why am I even doing these? Like, I don't feel anything right now. Well, once you start flowing, or 10 minutes and just sitting on the couch, you'll be like, wow, my wrists are on fire. Okay, so that was a little bit of what I do to warm up prior to my practice. Maybe I'll do a separate video for shoulders because this video will be too long for that. So we'll leave it short and simple. Thanks for tuning into this very first video. Woot, woot, woot. Maybe leave some comments below of what other else tips, advice you'd like to see on warming up, anything prior to the practice, anything you might need. Of course, there are props, yoga blocks, straps. We'll get into all that stuff. Right now I'm just on my mat, nothing special. You can literally get a mat almost anywhere. My first yoga mat I got at Walmart, or maybe even TJ Maxx. It was like 10 bucks, super cheap. Did the job for me for a nice year and a half. And all I'm saying is you don't have to get a special mat. I've never spent buco bucks on a yoga mat. I don't spend buco bucks on yoga clothes. So we'll get into all that too, because none of that stuff is important for my practice. So, again, thanks for tuning in. Happy Saturday.